Welcome to The Explainer. Have you ever just stared out at the ocean and wondered what's really down there? I mean, not just under the waves, but in the deepest, darkest parts of our planet? Well, today we're going to find out just how deep the ocean actually goes. So let's ask that question directly. How deep is the ocean? I mean, it's a simple question, but the answer is anything but. The scale is just so massive, it's almost impossible to wrap your head around. But we're going to try. Okay, so before we get to the really mind-blowing numbers, let's start with a baseline. What's a typical depth? We need to understand the average before we can appreciate the extreme.
Right, so according to NOAA, that's the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, the average depth across all of our oceans is 3,682 meters. That's our starting point.
Now, if you think in feet like I do, that's over 12,000 feet. Picture this, that's like 40 football fields stacked on top of each other, going straight down. And remember, that's just the average. That number is pretty impressive for sure. But here's the thing, it's not even close to the whole story. The ocean has these extreme points that just dwarf that number. So what about the single deepest point we know of on the entire planet? To find it, we have to go on a bit of a journey. We're headed to a legendary spot, a place known to scientists and explorers simply as the Challenger Deep. And the depth here? It is just staggering. We're talking 10,935 meters below the surface. Just let that number sink in for a second. In feet, it's almost 36,000. Here's a crazy way to think about it. You could take Mount Everest, right, the tallest mountain on land, drop it into the trench, and its peak would still be more than a mile underwater. It's just incredible. And this chart, wow, this really shows you the difference. Look at that little bar for the average depth, and then look at the one for the Challenger Deep. It's not just a bit deeper, it's nearly 3 times deeper. This is a truly exceptional, massive feature of our planet. Okay, so we know how incredibly deep it is. But where on Earth is this place? Let's go find it on a map. All right, you'll find the Challenger Deep way out in the western Pacific Ocean. It's tucked into the southern end of a massive underwater canyon called the Mariana Trench. It's located a few hundred kilometers southwest of the island of Guam. This whole trench is formed where one of Earth's massive tectonic plates is sliding under another, basically creating this deep, deep scar on the ocean floor. So what's it actually like down there? Well, it is an alien world. We're talking total, absolute darkness. The water pressure is so immense, it would crush most things instantly. But what's amazing is, there's life. It clusters around these active hydrothermal vents, these smokers that spew out superheated water, creating this bizarre, unique ecosystem in one of the harshest environments you can possibly imagine. So that name, Challenger Deep, where did it come from? It's actually a tribute. It's named after a British Royal Navy ship, the HMS Challenger. Its crew were the very first people to ever measure or sound the depths of this trench. And get this wasn't some recent discovery. The HMS Challenger expedition made these first measurements way, way back in 1875. Can you imagine that? They were charting these impossible depths with technology that basically amounted to a really long rope with a weight on the end. An absolutely incredible feat of exploration. So, from that first reading in 1875 all the way to today, with all of our amazing modern technology, the main fact has not changed. The deepest part of our ocean is the Challenger Deep. The confirmed depth, 10,935 meters, almost 36,000 feet straight down. And that just leaves you with this one last incredible thought. We've managed to map this one single deepest point. But the truth is, the vast, vast majority of our oceans are still completely unexplored, totally unknown. So you have to ask yourself, if a place like the Challenger Deep exists, what other wonders, what other secrets are still hiding down there in the dark, just waiting to be found?